for successful shawl design. Okay, sorry again. Welcome to additional material for Module 4 of Successful Shawl Design. Today I'm going to talk a bit about shape construction, about shawl shapes in general, how they can be constructed using basic geometric shapes like circles, rectangles, and triangles, and how to find out which basic shapes a complex shawl shape consists of. So basically, this is shawl shape deconstruction or construction, depending on where you start. So let's jump right in. All shawl shapes are combinations of basic geometric shapes, which they are rectangles, as mentioned already, circles or circle parts like circle segments or rings or things like that, and triangles. So to have a bit more of a graphic view, you see a triangle on the left side in yellow. In this case, it's triangle including a 90-degree angle here on the upper right side. Basically, when knitting triangles, you can shape your angles freely by choosing the right increase rate, so to speak, which is described in detail in shawl design in plain English as usual. At the center, you see a circle segment. Circle segments are worked similar to circles, but they are worked back and forth instead of working in a round. But the increases stay the same. It's just you only work a part of the circle, and this part is worked back and forth. And last but not least, the very prominent basic geometric shape you need in shawl design, which is basically a rectangle. Okay, let's have a look at some examples. Polygons are combinations of triangles. In this case, you see a polygon consisting of 5 triangles. As in every polygon, you have to sum up your angles, your inner angles, this one here, and this one, these angles. And the sum of all these angles has to be 360 degrees to form a proper polygon. So in this case, you have a polygon consisting of 5 segments. So you would, in this case, divide 360 by 5 to find out which angle you have to use here. So as soon as you know your angle, you can calculate your increase rate. Details can be found in this triangle section of Shawl Design in English. Please have a look at there to find out details about increase rates and details about increasing in triangles to form specific angles. Rhomboids are combinations of triangles too. In this case, we can, for example, start here at the tip with casting on 3 stitches and increasing according to the angle we want to achieve here. And just increase until we reach our desired width of the shawl, and then do a mirror image with decreases until we reach 3 stitches again, and can bind off basically. In theory, you could also work from center out here. You can just cast on provisionally the amount of stitches needed to achieve a certain width of your shawl, and then work in this direction. In this schematic, you would work from this center spine, so to speak, to the left, decreasing according to your desired angle. And then as soon as you finished the left half, undo your provisional cast on and work similarly towards the side. In parallelograms, it's basically a combination of triangles and rectangles. In this case, we have 2 triangles and 1 rectangle. In this case, it's a square. which has 4 equal sides. But basically, you are not limited to working squares here. You can work any size rectangle as long as this edge, which is the width of your shawl, equals the width of this triangle here. Basically, you start here with 3 stitches again, increase, but in this case only on the right side until you reach your desired width of your shawl, and then just work straight. This is your knitting direction, bottom up, and then decrease your stitches symmetrically or basically mirrored to this first triangle. In this case, we decrease our stitches on the left side until we reach 3 stitches again and then bind off. This constructs a parallelogram. Trapezoids are combinations of triangles and rectangles too. In this case, your knitting direction would be from the left towards the right, starting with 3 stitches again, increasing only on the left side in this case, until you reach your desired width of your shawl, then working straight and decreasing again, so forming the second triangle. The very basal, how's it said? So basically, you increase here on the left side and decrease on the same side. This forms a trapezoid. When we just jump back one slide in your parallelogram, you increase on the right side at first and decrease on the left side. So this is the basic difference between these parallelograms and trapezoids. But it's in both cases, it's a combination of 2 triangles and a rectangle. The only difference is the side where you're increasing, respectively decreasing here. When it comes to stalls with triangle ends, these are basically combinations of triangles and rectangles too. In this case, if you start working at the left side of the sketch towards the right side, you increase on both sides of the triangle until you reach your desired width, and then work straight and then decrease on both sides again. So as you can see, only by combining triangles and rectangles, in this case 2 triangles and 1 rectangle, you can form 3 different shapes already. Vortex shawls are triangle combinations too. Vortex shawls are started here and basically are shaped by increasing, just decreasing a few stitches again at the second section and then start increasing again. Details can be found as always in Shawl Design in Plain English, so please refer to the book for details on how to construct vortex shawls. And as it is the case with, I think, almost all other shawl shapes, excuse me, that are described in Shawl Design in Plain English, you can find very simple instructions on my website too. Stars are triangle combinations too. In this case, we get a polygon consisting of 5 segments and another 5 triangles forming the tips of the stars. Okay. For some shapes, you cannot just combine basic geometric shapes and achieve a desired shawl shape. You need to do some more things, like in this case, more blocking to form specific shawl shapes. 2 prominent examples of this kind of shawl shaping are short row crescent shawls and Faris shawls. And I will tell you a bit more about these 2 examples right now. So short row crescents are triangle combinations too. It's basically 1 triangle shaped by short rows and with a similar increase rate on both sides of the triangle. And then after having finished this short row section, this triangle forming section here, you are working back and forth over these 2 sides of the triangle and incorporating usually additional increases. And the second outer part of this triangle section is usually worked as an edging, like a lace border or something like that. The important thing is this triangle is shaped by short rows, not by decreases. So you have live stitches on both sides of the triangle here, and you work additional increases to form the crescent finally. So, but along with this shaping, as it is shown here, you would create this shape, not a crescent. So the question is, how does the crescent form? And the secret is blocking. In short row crescents, this specific crescent shape is achieved by blocking the resulting yellow shape when knitted to the shape shown as an outline of this dashed line here. And the same principle applies to Faroese shawls. Faroese shawls are combinations of triangles and rectangles which need specific blocking too. So as you can see, Faroese shawls and traditional Faroese shawl shaping is a bit of a complicated thing. You can start here on center neck and work all your way hemwards down, or you can also as well start at the hem here, casting on all the stitches around here, and work all your way up by decreasing the stitches here. As always, details about this Faroese shawl shaping are found in the book, and as far as I can tell, Faroese shawls have the most difficult shawl shaping of all shawl shapes I know, basically. So Faroese shawls are very difficult to make adjustable and things like that. And but they are also the most beautiful shawl shape, in my opinion. They almost look like wings, so it's really worth the effort to try to shape a Faroese shawl. Basically, this is the same as you would work in a triangle shawl with center panels, except that the center panel increases in width over the length of the shawl. And these are basically triangle sections too, a triangle with side panel in this case, with additional increases here and here and here. And this is kind of schematic of a border, basically. So symmetrically, normal triangle, additional increases for the second section. Again, normal triangle with additional increases for the third section. Same for the fourth section, additional increases here too. The rest is triangle shawl with center panels. The center panel increases in width just by incorporating increases here and here and here and here. And as soon as you finish with all this triangle with increases parts of your Faroese shawl, you work the border by just working over these live stitches you end up with after the fourth section. And the secret to this Faroese shawl shape, is blocking, as for short row crescent shawls. Okay. So as we're finished with our examples, maybe let's have a little exercise and just tell me, how would you construct these shapes? The shape on the left side, I call it the mod star. It's a modified star. Basically, as we can see, it's not a full star. It's more like a circle ring or ring star. So we do not start at the center here, but by casting on a few more stitches to form this shape. The hint is it's a combination of triangles and a circle ring. So you can see the circle ring here. This is the start of the circle ring. You're working back and forth and working a circle ring until you have reached this point here, this inner tip of your star. And then you would, for each corner of your star, you would work back and forth in triangle shapes. So one and the second triangle here and another one here until you bind off, and then you this section of your live stitches from the circle ring and work another triangle, and so on. So moving on to the next, this is what I call an elongated triangle or a winged triangle, and this is a triangle with additional increases incorporated here, and blocking again. So this is a shape like short row crescents and fairy shawls too, that finally result in the shape shown here by blocking. So it's a triangle, additional increases, and blocking. Okay, let's move on to these S-shaped shawls. To be honest, there are various variants to construct an S-shape. You could basically combine two circle ring segments, where each circle ring segment has an angle of 90 degrees. So this is the first one, and then you work the second one. If you work circle ring segments or combinations of them, you have to graft your stitches here at the center after finishing both parts. This is the first variant. There's another variant you could theoretically and practically sorry, work S-shaped shawls with short row shaping. So you start here with casting on your desired stitches for the width you want to achieve, and then work all the way up and end up here. And the S shape is achieved by short rows. So basically, short rows mean in this case not like triangle shapes, but only short rows on one side. So that you end up with more rows on this outer edge here than on the inner edge, resulting in this bending of your knitting, if in this arc you see here. And on the other side of the shawl, you just mirror your short rows. So you work more rows on the outside here, shown on the left, than on the inside, shown on the right here. So as you can see, there's not only one way of doing it, like always, there is more than one way of doing it. And as soon as you get a glimpse of what are your basic geometric shapes you can use in shawl design, it will become pretty obvious what to use. And if not, it might be blocking. So most of the shawl shapes that are possible are described in Shawl Design in Plain English. And if you find a shape that is not described there and you're curious about it, then please let me know, and I'll do my best to find out which shawl shapes, how this shawl shape can be constructed. As you can hear, I'm a bit tired today. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll do this video again tomorrow with a bit of better focus on it, to be honest. It's 12:30 here, and basically I should go to bed. I just wanted to make sure you get this video before the webinar, and I hope you enjoy it. And as always, in case you get any questions, please just ask. Thank you for listening, and have a very nice evening.